The term homesickness extends far beyond the casual way we use it to describe a day when we just crave a good meal and the comfort of home. It was once a horrible disease. It is a real medical sickness. It starts as a lump in the throat, an emptiness under the ribs, a fever of longing. Historically, this feeling was anything but trivial. In the 17th century, Swiss doctor Johannes Hofer gave it a name, nostalgia, combining the Greek nostos, return home, and algos, pain. He diagnosed soldiers who grew deathly ill far from their homelands, describing a sadness accompanied with insomnia, anorexia, and other unpleasant symptoms that could even lead to death. What we call nostalgia today was once a lethal affliction of displaced people. For those Swiss mercenaries and later the young conscripts of the French Revolution, the only cure was believed to be an actual return home, a physical reunification of body and place, and without it the sufferer wasted away. Doctors of the 18th and 19th centuries catalogued racing pulse, paleness, even fevers in the homesick. In extreme cases, military physicians tried aggressive cures, purging, opium, and even bloodletting with leeches, as if an excess of longing could be drained from the veins. This impulse to treat an emotional wound with a bodily cut speaks to a curious logic. When the mind ails, let the body bleed. The afflicted soul, in its wordless sorrow for a lost home, was met with lancets and hacksaws, a literal cutting to release figurative demons. We might find it barbaric, yet it reveals how real the pain of homesickness was once considered. An early medieval surgeon, Roger of Parma, even advised trepanning the skull for melancholia. A cruciate incision is made in the top of the head to permit the noxious material to exhale to the outside. In other words, open a physical hole to let out intangible grief. The instinct to cure by cutting has appeared in many forms, from tribal bloodletting rites intended to expel evil spirits to the medieval practice of drilling the cranium to relieve madness. One famous Renaissance image by Hieronymus Bosch, The Cure of Folly, shows a man's skull being cut open to remove a stone, a grotesque metaphor for extracting despair. Little did those early healers realize, the stone they sought to remove was not in the skull at all, but in the heart, a weight of longing for somewhere forever absent. Homesickness is a species of melancholy. The word itself, Heimweh in German, carries an echo of Heimat, home, and Weh, pain or woe. Sigmund Freud, in examining melancholia, noted how an unresolved mourning can turn inward, behaving like an open wound that refuses to heal. The homesick individual is, in a sense, a mourner, grieving a place, a time, a sense of belonging that is no longer present. And just as in Freud's uncanny Das Unheimliche, what was once homely and familiar can become strange and unsettling when estranged. The German Unheimlich literally means unhomely. In a foreign city, even ordinary rooms feel subtly hostile, and one's own recollections of home acquire a ghostly, elusive quality. In Dürer's engraving, the figure of melancholy sits listless, surrounded by the tools of creation she cannot use. Her condition is often interpreted as creative paralysis, but it is also spatial. She does not feel at home even among her things. Like the melancholic artist, the homesick person inhabits a liminal mental space, one foot in the present, the other in a remembered world. Julia Kristeva writes of this state in terms of foreignness and exile, both without and within. The émigré, the refugee, or anyone uprooted carries an internal exile, a stranger within themselves that never quite finds home. No matter how familiar the new surroundings become, the psyche keeps searching for the lost sanctuary of the past. To leave home is to perform a kind of cut. It cleaves one's life into a before and after. The umbilical metaphor is unavoidable. Just as an infant's cord is cut at birth, separating it from the mother's body, the emigrant or exile experiences the cutting of the spiritual umbilical cord, tethering them to their homeland. What remains is a scar that sometimes aches, a phantom pain where something used to be attached. Homesickness, then, is the phantom limb pain of a severed connection to place. It is the psyche's way of probing a wound that cannot fully close. All these strands, the emotional, the spatial, the symbolic, come together at 1021 Prince Street. This unassuming site becomes a stage for critical spatial practice, exploring homesickness through a literal cut in architecture. This intervention begins where all architectural dreams begin, with the blade and the compass, two tools that carry old myths. The compass, an echo of the cosmic drafter who draws worlds with one gesture. The saw, whose teeth, legend says, Daedalus copied from a snake's jaw. The compass sets the idea, the saw delivers the bite. Across cultures, cutting often heals. The Prince Street intervention is not about destruction, but about ritual transformation. Maya kings bled their own tongues. The smoke of blood-soaked paper carried words to the gods. Our cone lets dust and stale memories drift upward, bloodless, but still an offering to the unseen forces that haunt and heal our spaces. Inca doctors drilled skulls to ease pressure and quiet restless spirits. Each round floor cut here vents the weight of longing trapped in these airless rooms, allowing the building to breathe again. Highland Andeans still slice earth, bury coca or a llama fetus, and ask Mother Ground for future crops. Our cone burrows through floors, pinning house to soil while opening it to sky, connecting earth and heaven through a single geometric gesture. The vertical center point was determined as the midpoint between floor and ceiling, while the horizontal point was selected according to what Matta Clark describes as making the right cut between support and collapse, a section of wall that would engage maximum structural elements. From this central point, measurements extended 30 inches to one side, while on the opposite wall center, measurements followed traditional Chinese measurement rules. The original plan for 22-inch dimensions was adjusted to remain within what Chinese measurement systems consider a good range of dimension. To create a conical form, a puncture through the wall, the cutting process followed a precise methodology. Nails were driven into the center of each wall section, around which was wrapped a cord. This cord, tied to first a graphite pencil and later a black Sharpie marker, was used to trace perfect circles. Once the circles were marked, drill holes were placed approximately 1 inch apart around the circumference. Finally, a key saw designed for cutting through gypsum and cardboard was used to complete the excision. The project was documented using iPhone photography, with images printed by a Kodak Sync, a Polaroid-type printing machine. This choice of technology speaks to the project's engagement with questions of representation and memory. Intriguingly, despite having the capability to combine interior cut photos with other interiors, this approach was ultimately rejected. This suggests a profound respect for the integrity of the cut object, a recognition that a piece, once cut, can be further divided into smaller fragments without requiring combination with another cut house. In the end, we understand that architecture is more than steel, wood or stone. It is a mirror of our inner life. To be homesick is to be human, caught between where we are and where we long to be. By merging the concept of homesickness with the act of cutting, we find a powerful dialectic. The cut hurts, but it also reveals. The nostalgia wounds us, but it also reminds us what we cherish. In the gap between two halves of a split house, in the opening cut into a wall, in the void running through a museum, there lies a promise that even emptiness can speak. The task of critical spatial practice is to listen to that speech, to let walls talk, to let absence be articulate, to treat homesickness not as a weakness to be quelled, but as a depth to be explored. As we step back from the raw opening at Prince Street, we see it for what it truly is, a portal through which memory and reality converse, through which a building and its inhabitants share a moment of vulnerability. A portal that connects the longing of the mind with the space of the world. Through that portal, light falls on both sides of the wall, perhaps a gentle reminder that in acknowledging our longing, we also illuminate it. And in that illumination, both person and place may find a measure of peace.